3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Yes, and we are live. All right. So I just got my coffee. It's Vietnamese iced coffee. Pretty good. Pretty good. But let's go to the code. So I finished the password generators. I do it on my own, a little bit, a lot of it actually. From that day till today is like 1.5 days. I basically just need to figure out. I was like, when I run the app, the version before this, it's automatically. You don't need to click generate password, and then there's 2 passwords already printed onto the screen. So this button is pretty much useless. So I was trying to figure it out, and I'm so stupid. You actually just need to call a new function, password new, and then you in the text actually it's text content, but in the text is okay. And then you click password generate, and then you go to another function you call password new, and then in the HTML you on click the function generate, you on click the button as with a function called get password. Basically you calling this. I was calling the password generate before, so it doesn't show. No, it's show automatically. It's already, whenever you run the code, it's print onto the screen. So it just stay there, and it sucks. So for now, whenever you click generate password, it's generate you a new password every single time. And so yeah, let's go through the logical of the JavaScript for this app. So this is basically the stuff that they given you. If I remember right, it's 105 characters. So let's password L. This is basic stuff. Let password length is equal to 15 because you only want 15 characters. And then function get random characters. So you call a function called get random characters, and then you go and random. This is a variable called let random index. Yeah. Sorry guys, one of my family members walked in, so I just stunned. All right, so let's walk through the JavaScript again. So this is the stuff that my instructor given to me is the characters, and this couldn't change. That's why it's constant. So there's 105 characters, and then this is all the stuff that I stayed out so that later on in the code I can basically use it or assign it to something, right? And then you go password length is equal to 15 because you want your password length to be 15 characters, right? And then the next part is get random function, get random characters. This function is basically just to give you an index, and then from that index you can assign it into the you can call the characters. So is random index equal to math.floor? So you always want to do it first is math.random times the characters length, so 105. So it's going to give you a random decimal from 0.000 to 104.999. So it's give you from 0 to 104. So math.floor, it will give you 0, right? 0 to 105 or 0 to 104. I don't remember this, but it's basically, yeah, it gives you a random index. And so you return this value of this get random characters. You return characters, which is this whole list, and then it's going to get a random numbers, just basically a random numbers. So if let's say if give you 1, it's going to be B, and then some random like this, I don't know the position of this, but if give you I, right? So return this. So get random is going to be equal that, like A or C or K or lower K or lower O, right? And then for the next one, for the next function is password generate. So your random password should be nothing yet because there's you haven't got a random password, so it's an empty string. So for we run a loop, and this loop count start at 0, I less than password length, so less than 15, so it can only be 14, and then it's increment 0 to 14, that's going to be 15 characters. It's increment by 1. It's increment by 1, and then random password is equal to random password plus get random characters. So random password at this moment is nothing. It's nothing, and then it's equal to nothing plus get random characters. So let's say it's A, and then it's loop for 15 times. Loop, and then it's return this random password and put it into this. So password generate, the function now has a value called random password, and then you call this function password new. So it's basically just print out the new password onto this stuff right here. You go password, yeah, this is the stuff that we did before. We call a function, we call this password generate a function, and then you got the value. You got 15 characters here, and it print onto this, print onto the password 1L, which is here, password 1 ID. password 1L, and which is the document get element by ID password 1. So basically the part right here, and the number 2 is this. And then you just go with a function, whatever you want to call, but I call it get password, and then open parentheses, open curly braces. You put this function, you put this old function into this, and then assign get password as the buttons on the on click, and we are set for life for this generate random password. Yeah. Basically, I go change my name to Little Code Divide. Alright. Hey, Fazulin, you are genius. You're genius. Little coders. Alright, so yeah, we are done. If you guys want to check out the code that I wrote, actually I copy a lot of this. I just like, it's hard for me to like start from scratch, and at the end I usually look at codes and then like seeing how it works out and why is it like that, instead of like, oh, I have to think through blah 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 blah. It's going to be so hard. Yeah, but like I did copy some of this and some of this, but other things I just figured it out. The whole thing, yeah, I figured it out. But yeah, if you guys want to check the code I wrote, you can go to my GitHub, which is Tytran 112000, my birth date. Yeah, and you can see right here is called password generator app. And yeah, so we keep going with this JavaScript courses. It's really interesting. I like it. Right now we will build a Chrome extension. Right, we will go this and start our app according to the provide. I have to watch.
A little bit of padding. See here on the body element that there's some space between the edges and where our elements start. That is the padding that is provided. And here I've also set a font of Arial. That is a web-safe font. So that one should work without, for example, using Google Fonts in our project as well. So just click on the slide here when you want to see the design, and click outside of the slide when you want to go back to the code. And I've also added a little helper text here, which is the hexadecimal code of the green color, which you can see on the button and on the borders of the input field. Now you can see on the bottom image here that I've added some text to the input field. The slightly bluish color in the background here is not something you are to configure. That's just default styling that is added by the browser, so you don't have to think about that. As far as you know, the background of the input element will be white. Now I'm going to get you started here with making the input element full width, because that's a little bit unintuitive and I want to show it to you. Because as you can see here on the input element, when we enter text into it, we have a little gap between the text and the edge of it. However, in our app now, right like that, you will see that there is basically no gap. So we have to add a little bit of padding on the left side, let's say 10 pixels, and there you can see we got the gap. We want the same gap on the right-hand side as well, so I'll do padding right of 10 pixels as well. So now we have that, and you might wonder why I started there. It's a little bit weird, but let's say that we now want to provide the styling for making this input field be full width. Well, then I'll do width and then set it to 100%. That means take up all the available space I have inside of my container. And for the input field, kind of container it lives inside of, is the body tag. So That means that 100% should make the input field take up the entire body, and the body has a little bit of padding, as you know. So I would expect this to actually stop at the right 10 pixels before the end of our browser. But actually, it doesn't do that. It continues on. It actually goes past our browser. A little bit weird. The reason is that the true width of this element now
is going to be one. What?
100% plus 10 pixels plus 10 pixels. Because it includes the padding left and the padding right and adds that on top of this width. So that's a problem. And it results in our input field being wider than our body tag. And we don't want that. So the trick I'll use to avoid that is something called box sizing.
Box
Here
sizing.
I want you to size the box along its borders. We'll write border box, and there you can see. Now, full width includes the paddings as well. The 100% now takes into account the paddings and just makes sure that the entire thing spans across the entire body tag, but not overflowing it. I wanted to show you that because it's not entirely intuitive. Now you have what you need. Your job is to use only these two selectors, the input and the button selector, and make it look like the design you can see here on the slide. So go ahead and give.
Right, you want the green. Da, 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 da. Are there any function called border colors? Yeah. But why is it the top part? The top part doesn't look green at all. So let's change it. Let's do this. I got distracted. Nope. Alice. Then this. Nope. Button colors. Nope. Buttons. Background. Text is white. White. And then you want to padding. Padding going to be, I don't know, what is the rule for padding, guys? Rule for padding. Rule for padding buttons. CSS. Font height is 20 pixel. Hey, load it. Come on. Why is it so slow? Padding, 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 padding. Oh my god. All of this, like, design block, it takes so long to load. Because they put, like, I feel like they put too much, like, design element into this. Adding 20 pixel. Let's just code it. Hopefully after the end of code, maybe 10 pixel. And then width 10 pixel. 50 pixel. 200 pixel. 125 pixel. $150. Yep, look like that. And then body style, none. Yes. And then margin top. Margin top, 5 pixel. Right, look nice. Look nice, look nice. And then you go to this. Look, this part looks big. I call this input height is equal to 50 pixel. Nope. 25. Nope. 25 pixel. $35. Nope. 45. Yep. Beak. Let's do 35. 35 is look like a good numbers here. 35. Not too old, not too young. You are like in the middle age. Amazing. Alright? And then how do I code the borders of the input? See, it doesn't load of this graphic design elements. There's too much of it. Like, I just want a website that function. I don't hate design. I love design, but like if you put too much, or maybe my Wi-Fi is just like Ninja Turtle. Yeah, see, W3S, it loads like so fast, and the design is okay. Like it's readable, and like it's nice. You have some ads so that they can pay. Hey, what's up, little coders? Hello, little coders. How are you doing? Where's my what can I search? Hey, basically I need some CSS tips, right? How do you change the color of this, of the border of the input? Yes, I need some of your tips for this. How do I change the border of this? The border of my input. Yeah, I know you, Fazeline. I remember. I'm not stupid. Alright, let me search this. Padding top, padding. See, so now I have an input tag in HTML called text ID input L. Now, how do I change the color of this? Not the background, but like the outline of this. Do I do outline colors? Oh my god. Borders 2 pixel solid black. Let me try this first, whether if it works or not. Bada bing, bada boom. Doesn't work. Right? What did you say again? Border. Columns. This is. How many pixels is this? Probably like 1 pixel. 1 pixel. And then copy the hex code. And then solid baby. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I don't need a border for this. It's actually, this is the stuff that I need to do. I need to do this. Now we type something in. Yeah, it looks nice. Yep, let's just run it. And then let's see what my instructor will do.
Element, button, also of 10 pixels, and padding top, also of 10 pixels. Now we have something
You want padding
much
as
more
well.
like what we have here.
You want
Next
padding.
up, we also need the color on the border. So we'll do border, 1 pixel, solid, and then use this green color here. That look good. Now we can actually continue with the button. First thing is the background color, green, background, and use this green color again, like that. Okay. Also, text is white, color white, like that. There's also padding here as well, which we need to add. There's a little bit more padding on the left and right hand side. Try padding top 10 pixels and padding bottom of 10 pixels. Then padding left of 20 pixels. Yeah, starting to look good. Padding right, 20 pixels. Now, I actually want to clean up our code a little bit because you can see we're using this very verbose way of writing paddings both here and here. First in the body, as you have learned previously in this career path, use the shorthand. And if all of the top, bottom, left, right are of the same value, we can just use padding. So I can remove all of these and do padding 10 pixels. Here it's a little bit more complex, but the top and bottom are identical and the left and right are identical. What we then can use is padding and then 10 pixels for the top and bottom, and then 20 pixels for the left and right.
That's smart. That's smart.
The first value kind of becomes the y-axis, above and below, and the second value becomes the x-axis, to the left and to the right. I remove this. Now see, it looks identical as how we had it previously, but we've removed a ton of lines, which is good. Now, another thing on the button is that it has these default borders. You want to put
let's skip this.
and set it to, for example, 4. The input can be added.
Wait.
There we go. Move on.
Yep. Yibbidi up. Does the background colors of the input have to be sky blue when you click? No, it's not. It just has. I don't think we have learned that. I learned that before. It's a hover state, but I don't think we have to do it here. Yeah, let's just keep going.
Okay.
Just keep going. Just keep
Now
going.
we're going to move from the CSS over to the JavaScript. Because
Oh,
we have to
baby.
make our input button work. And while you won't make it useful in this cast, you will at least have it log out button clicked when the user clicks it. So, to know how to do this, you're going to have to modify both some HTML and write a function in the JavaScript file. Go ahead and do it so that when I click the Save Input button, the console will log out button clicked. And once you are done, return back to the screencast and I will show you the solution as well. Good luck.
Just keep swimming. Just keep. Oh my god, my computer.
Okay, hopefully you remember.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember, my friend. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Right. So, log out button click when the user click the save buttons. Okay. Click the save input. On click. On click, baby. Call this button out. Call this click function. Right, and then we go with this. Button click. I need a paragraph for this. A p. Call this id. Call this what should I call this? This is called text doesn't describe it. Let's call this it's not instruction. It's like a warning. Warning sounds a little bit better, but it's not truly warning. So yeah, we have an on click. Call this function. Click, and then this, and then we call. But first we have to let warning. That's warning L equal document get element by ID, and then we put in warning. It is not optimal if you name it like this, but you will go and come back. Alright, yeah, no problem. You can join. I will stay here for a while. I will stay here, and in the afternoon I will probably be live as well. So yeah, do your stuff. This is no problem. No problem. Is equal to dot text content is equal to button click. Yes, run. What the hell? Put this in here. Yes. Doesn't print out anything here. Warning oh, the text content. Warning. Click save input. Click. Oh, we have to click. Yep, let's run this. Yes, 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 and yes. Okay, we are.
That lead or logging out.
Yeah, he wanted to log out, not. He didn't say it. It doesn't say log out, right? Does it say log out?
Okay.
Log out. Okay, I'm stupid.
Great job.
Refactors.
So, while this way of writing event listeners, where we define a function and trigger it via the onClick attribute in the HTML works perfectly fine. Out in the wild, you'll most likely see professional developers use a slightly different technique. So it's important that you learn that one as well. And the way we do that is by first grabbing a hold of the ID of the element we want to hook an event listener onto. We'll do let input btn equals document dot get element, the element we want to hook an event, passing in the input batch btn. And then what I'll do is input btn dot add event listener.
Event listener.
Inside of the add event listener function or method, which it's also called, I'll first specify what kind of event I want to listen for. And here it is the click event. And then I'll write a comma and do something which might look a little bit weird. Because now we are going to define what are we going to do when someone clicks on this input button. Well, we are going to invoke a function. And in order to invoke that function, we first have to write it. Call the function. Open and close parentheses, and then the curly brackets, and break it onto a new line. Inside of this function, we can write whatever code we want to be executed when the user clicks on this input button. So here, we'll do console.log, button clicked from add event listener, like that. And let's change this to button clicked from onClick attribute. Now, if we run this code, hit the button, you can see both this line and this line is executed. However, now we can actually remove this onClick event listener from our HTML. And some would say that this results in a cleaner separation of concerns, where the HTML doesn't worry about any event listeners, because that's all gathered in the JavaScript. So, of course, then we should also remove the save lead function. And
Input buttons with input btn plus dot add event listeners click function. You can put in any function. Really? Console log buttons click from event listener.
And we're left with this. Running the code, clicking the button, and only this line triggers. So, in the next cast, you are going to get some practice writing this type of event listeners.
Event listener. Function. My function. Get element by ID dot in the text equal. It looks clunky for me because I don't remember a lot.
So let's dive into it.
I have bad memories. I can remember a lot of things, but like one is like.
So, in this challenge, you are going to practice writing event listeners using the technique you just learned. So it's a 3-part challenge where you first are to grab the box from the DOM and store it in a variable. Here you can see the box. It's just a rectangle that says open the box. You can imagine that this is some kind of Easter egg on a e-commerce website where if you open the box, you get a coupon or something like that. And as for HTML, it's just a very simple div with an ID of box. And of course, I've styled it a little bit in the CSS file, but we're not going to worry about that. So when you have grabbed the box from the DOM and stored it in a variable, you are to add a click event listener to it. And then finally log out, I want to open the box when the box is clicked. So if you struggle to remember how to add an event listener using JavaScript, you can go back and rewatch how I explained that, or even better, Google it out, and you should find the solution as well. With that, go ahead and solve this challenge right now.
Right. Alright, grab the box from the DOM. Let's box L equal to document dot get element by ID, bada bing bada boom. Call this what is this? Boxy box, and then add a click event listener to the box. Box L dot add event listeners, and then what do I need to pass into this? There's a lot of things that you can pass into this. Wow. Copy, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, before cut, blah blah blah, blah. Click. If I remember right, it's click. Click, right? So when it's clicked, it's called a function. Function. And then what do you do? And then you do curly braces. Wow, this is so clunky. Clunky. Alright, so logout. I want to open the box. When it clicked, console.log. But it is clunky, but you will have your muscle memory in like, yeah, it quite fast. It's not that bad. It's just a little clunky. Copy this, put this in this, and then boom. Open the box. Oh, I want to open the box. Right.
Okay, hopefully that went well. Let's do this. We'll do let box equals document of get element by ID, passing in box. And then to add the event listener, it's box dot add event listener, passing in first the event we want to listen for. That is the click. And then what do we want to trigger when the user clicks? Well, it's this function right here.
This right here can confuse people. If they haven't worked with add event listener, they won't know this is a function within add event listener. They would think it's like, oh, that's like a string. Yeah, so yeah, it's quite confusing
Here,
at first, but
inside of it, we're going to console.
I think it would be better.
I want to open the box like that. Let's run the code. Click the box, and yes, it works. Great job.
My turn to refract though.
Okay, we are back at our lead tracking app. Now, of course, you are going to do what I showed you before you learned about add event listener, just to refactor our app so that it uses the .add event listener when you click on the save input button. Because this is Scrimba, I'm not supposed to write the code, so even though I've already done it, now it's your turn.
My turn, baby. We do. Let's delete this. Right, ID. Let input equal input btn. Let input equal document dot get element by ID. Do 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 do. Input dot add event listener. Open this bracket, and then we call a click, and then we pass in this function called save load. Save let. Right? We are done. button click. Console log button click. One time is all it takes. Save that. Console log button click. When you click the save buttons, when you click the save button, is there one time or passing function, because this is not when it click. Maybe I delete the wrong. Yeah, let's see this. Save that right here. This is the way you move, the way you live. One time is solitaire. No. We do on click here. Save let. The way you move, the way you feel. One time solitaire. What? I didn't even click it.
And we can do input side of the body of this function right here. I'm going to copy this I'm going to grab the ID here and do body of this function right. So remove the on-click attribute.
Yeah, you have to remove it. Yeah, you don't keep it. That's exactly what I did. And then I just add it back because I'm fucking stupid. I'm stupid. This one, the way you move, the way you hit. Alright, we keep going.
I'll rerun.
So he click and then console log. If it's like this function, yeah, basically passing a function called this. Why is it? It doesn't work. What the hell? Maybe I have to create a new function called SaveLet function. And then delete this too. This one, the way you move, the way you feel. Console.log. Button click. Right, run. Boom. Bam, 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 bam. Alright.
Code, click save input, and indeed it works. Great job.
It was a little something.
Now we need to set up the infrastructure for being able to actually save the leads that we enter into our input field. For that, we need two variables. First, a myLeads variable, which should be assigned to an empty array. Secondly, the inputL variable, which should be assigned to the text input field. With that, I mean the input field right here. So go ahead and create these two variables right now.
Variable. MyLeads should be assigned to an empty array. So empty array is going to be my lead Cyrus. My lead Cyrus. Empty array, which is this. One time is solidity. Should be assigned to an empty array. Input L is equal to B, should be assigned to the text input field. Get element by ID. Get out. Document. Get element by ID. Open this, and then we do, what's it called? Input L. This is the way you move, the way you
And for the input, however, what I'm going to do, swap out this let with const. That's weird. Why am I doing that? You might wonder. That is because in modern JavaScript, developers use both let and const to declare variables. And now I think it's about time that you learn both of these methods. So we're going to set the input L as a const, and also the
input L. Why is it a const? Oh, because it will never change. Oh, I see. CC, yeah. Senor.
Now, the main difference between const and let, that const cannot be reassigned. And the name kind of hints to that. It says const, which is short for constant. So whatever you assign it to should be constant, meaning can't reassign it. And if you don't remember what reassignment is, it's when you do input. L, for example, equals hello. This won't work. If I run this code, you can actually see assignment to constant variable. I tried to assign the input L, however, it's a constant, so JavaScript is saying, not allowed. Now, you might ask, why do we need this? This seems to be something that just makes it more difficult for us to code, because it gives us less freedom. Well, that is a very good question. So in the next cast, we'll dig into exactly that, so that you properly understand why you want to use both let and const, and actually get some practice using both of these variable types. Okay, let's say that we are back at our blackjack game, and we have two variables.
I'll take care.
Your name and credits. The first one is a const, whereas the second one is a let. Now, immediately upon seeing these two variables, a developer will understand that player name is not to be reassigned. However, this developer wouldn't only think that credits can be reassigned, would actually assume that credits are to be reassigned further down in the code. So the developer would expect something like credits equals credits minus 10, for example. And the reason for that is that developers often use the following to decide whether or not they should use const or let. So if possible, default to using const. If not, use let. If these two lines follow this methodology, it would mean that it simply wasn't possible to write credits as a const, because it is going to be reassigned later down in the code, and thus we skipped the default of const and used let instead. And this is actually the biggest benefit with const. It gives us a way to quickly signalize to anyone who are reading the code what we want to do with the variables. So in addition to expecting that something like this here would happen, the developer would also be very suspicious if she saw something like player name equals something else down here, because that would mean that the person writing this code mixed up their let and consts, or perhaps didn't even understand it. As we know, this will give us an error. So with all of this knowledge and following this methodology, I want you to do a challenge. Which of the variables below should be changed from let to const? Here, the situation is an e-commerce shop where you have a base price, a discount, shipping cost, and shipping time. At some point though, the details of the shipping changes, and then you calculate the full price, and finally notify the customer.
All right. We will take a toilet break for a few minutes. Yeah. I'm having stomach issue. Alright, right. I'm back, guys. Okay, so let's keep going. If not, let's use let. Which variable below should be changed from let to const? Shipping cost cannot, shipping time cannot. Discount. Could be, yeah, const. Const. And base price const. Yeah, let's run this.
Go ahead and change. I'm going to start here. We are reassigned that. And once it's not reassigned further down, just used here in the console log, meaning that this one also should be a const. So hopefully you now understand why we want to use const and let. And if it's still a bit confusing, don't worry about it. We're going to continue using these variables.
Okay.
Okay, we are back in our lead track graph, and now we need to make sure that when the user hits the save input button, a lead is pushed to the my leads array. For now, you're just going to use a hard-coded lead, so www.awesomelead.com, for example, and that value should be pushed to my array when the input button is clicked. Go ahead and give this a shot right now.
To my array when the input button is clicked. Where's my array? Push the value. Push. Okay, push. My array. Yeah, it should be my leads. Oh God. Let's go. Hey, I'm trying to study, but I keep getting distracted. Not good. When the input button is clicked. Input buttons. Yeah, push my lead. How do I do push? Shove it in, push. Fruit.push. Yep. My lead Cyrus dot push in a function, a thing called this, copy, bam, this into here, bam. Whoa. Print. Not print, console log. Console.log. My leads. Yes. Run. Yes.
My leads array, like that, we will actually verify.
Oh, so you don't need button click anymore. So yeah. Yeah, basic stuff.
Verify that it works. I'll hit the save input button, and there you can see we now have 1, we have 2, and 3, and 4. However, it's pretty useless because we're just pushing the exact same thing. Fix up that in the next cast.
yeah, push the value from the input field. Const input.
Okay, so now we are going to take whatever the user enters into the input field right here, push that value into the myLeads array when the Save Input button is clicked. So push the value from the input.l into the myLeads array instead of the hard-coded www.awesomeleads.com value right here. However, I haven't taught you how to actually get the value from the input.l. That is, for example, this www.example value right here. So you need to Google that. That's great practice because Googling is...
Get value from input field JavaScript.
As you know, something professional developers do every single day. So here is what I recommend you to Google. Try to find...
Try this. Google. Nah, I will stick with W3S. It's pretty good. Dot value. Input text value. Yeah, we call dot values, right? Push the value from the input L into the array. So we do push, right? No, myLeads dot push equal input L dot values, not node values, just dot values. Instead of the hard code, the console log dot log myLead Cyrus run bonjour blah blah blah. Let's go to another one. Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow my mic. JavaScript code function such URL dot location plus input text value. What? Document get element by ID. Yeah, let's try this. Equal document get D, call this input L dot value. And then do I need a commas? Yes, I do. Huh. That's the push dot push. Yeah, that's right. Push. Oh, no. It's supposed to be this. And here. Yes. Run. Ooh, baby girl. Yum. That's how we got it. That's how we get it.
For example, this was by first one for us, and it's been viewed 2.5 million times, so super relevant for a lot of other people as well. That's probably what we want. We already have value then. Now refresh.
Input L.values. Yeah. What am I doing here? Basically stated. I put input L before. It didn't work because I didn't put it inside here. Now let's run. Yes, 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 baby. Baby.
To.com input, and that works as well. Great job. Let's move on.
Wow. Use a loop to log out the leads. Loops to logs out the leads. Right.
Okay, now that we're able to take the input value and push it into the myLeads array so that we store our data, it's time to set the stage for going the other way around as well, meaning rendering out the leads. And as you might remember, when you want to render all of the items of an array out, you first need to loop through that array and grab each of the items. And that's exactly what you're going to do in this challenge. However, to begin with, you are going to work with some dummy data just to make it a little bit easier for you. So I've pasted in 3 dummy leads in the myLeads array here.
Yeah, let's do this. For let I equal 0, and then we comment, and then we do I is less than my lead dot length, and then comment this, and then we do I plus plus, and then we do console log my leads I run this console log. Yeah, basic stuff.
So remember, 0 the I, our iterator.
Basic. We skim through this so
Next
that
up,
we can go into the big project, big boy project.
Logging out the leads to actually rendering them out on the page. However, in order to do that, we have to actually create that unordered list where we are to render the leads out. So you are going to do that through a 2-part challenge. The first part is to create the unordered list element, UL, an ID of UL-L, that's for unordered list element. And then after you've done that, return back to the JavaScript, grab this unordered list and store it in a const variable that's called UL. A little bit of...
Alright, this is alright. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. L, ID, L, and then close, then open, then this, then that, bada bing, bada boom. Run. And then we grab the unordered list. Let const is const, and it's going to be L equal document dot get element by ID. Then open this. We grab the unordered list. Yes. That's good.
Weird, once all together. Starting in the 8 code, nothing happens. And set it to incorrectly. Let's console log out this element from the code, and there we can see it is being logged to the console. Good job solving this one. Let's move on. Now you are going to render the leads out in the unordered list we just created using the .textContent property, which we've used in previous sections. So you are to replace the console log here with the rendering of each item into the unordered list. Now, what will happen here is that you'll simply render out plain text inside of an unordered list, for example, www.os.com. We run this. This is how it will look. And as you hopefully know, this is not how we write list items inside of an unordered list. The way to do it originally is to use li elements like that. Run the code so that we get this dot signaling that it's a list item. However, for now, you are simply going to render out plain text inside of the unordered list. So we're kind of doing it wrong first, and then we'll fix it up later.
Yeah.
So just go.
Render the leads in the unordered list using. Okay. Okay. Clear this. ul.textContent equal to this. L as well. Plus equal. Huh.
Go ahead and read the words from. And here you might have just the lead we're looking at. It was cleared out yet. So then comfortable. You want to add at least a space in between them. So if you remember that.
Huh? Why is it on the new line?
That you then enlarge the screen, they are just render out.
Oh, I have to larger the screen. Yep. Yep.
Way of doing it, since we've just added plain text inside of the unordered list, we want to add list items. Now we at least know how to take the data in my leads and render it out on the page, and we also know how to take whatever the user inputs into the
Wow. Amazing. I see.
input field and push that value into the lead. We kind of have a very simple implementation of each part of the app that we simply need to put together so that we at least have a working first version. So let's continue on. Okay, now we need to fix the fact that we are simply rendering out plain text strings like this inside of the unordered list. That's not what we want. We want to wrap them in list tags, of course, like this. So in order to do that, let's first just try to add, for example, an li opening tag before the lead and an li closing tag after the lead.
Wow, you can do that
Run
as
this,
well.
you see, oh, we simply rendered out the HTML tags as plain strings. That's not what we want. We want our browser to parse this as HTML so that it can really turn them into list items.
You
And the way
do
to do that actually is simply
HTML.
replacing this text content property
in
with
the
something called
HTML.
inner HTML.
Ah,
Do that.
that's
and run
smart.
the code
That's
into
brilliant.
here. Now we have them
That's
as
brilliant. That's brilliant. Genius. Genius.
proper list items with these bullets that are included on the default styling of list items. So this means that the browser actually looked at this string right here and understood, oh, okay, this is actually the starting of a list element. I'm going to avoid rendering that out as a plain string and instead convert this entire thing to a list item. So this is a whole new world of manipulating the DOM. Suddenly you can create HTML elements with JavaScript. So let's take a closer look at inner HTML and give you some practice on how to use it.
Inner HTML. I want to see inner HTML. Inner HTML. Get the HTML content of an element with ID IP. Change the HTML content. Demo. Actually, you can use it with JavaScript. That's smart. That's smart.
So to help you learn inner HTML, I have a really silly example for you here. Because let's say that you're working on an e-commerce website. Somehow your colleague, the HTML developer, has forgotten to add the buy button inside of the div container. That is a crisis because your customers now can't buy your products. So you as the JavaScript developer have to do that instead. So you're going to use .innerHTML property to render out a buy button inside of the div container. You have to grab a hold of the div container first and then use the inner HTML. And the text inside of the button should be buy with an exclamation mark. So go ahead and
I have to grab what inside. Oh. Let's
give this your best shot. Right.
Let me try this. Let's container L. And then dot L. L equal to document. Dot get element by ID. Bada bing, bada boom. Shishing. Containers. Yes. And use the dot inner HTML to render buy buttons. Container L equal dot inner text inner HTML equal to open this, call this buttons, close it, do I have to change it? Let's try this. Plus and call this by and then plus call this slash buttons bouton. Yes, run this. Syntax error. The hell? React's not defined. Let me console log. Console log. Container L. Run this. What? React is not defined. Huh? What is this?
Now, this indeed contains. If we have that, we can do container tag.
Oh, it has to be grabbed inside a string. Okay. Got it. Got it, got it. Oh, has to grab this as well. Run by. You don't want space here so that you can manipulate it with CSS. Yes, 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 yes. This has to be grabbed inside a string. What is it called? Quotation mark. double quotation mark. And yeah. Oh, hello. How do I say your name? Sayuk. So Fadin. Hey, what's up? What's up?
We run this. Yes, we can see the and let's move on.
Wow, I still have a lot of lesson. Yeah, let's finish it by the end of today. Now I want to go chill a little bit. All right, I will see you guys in like 2 hours. I will be back by 1 a.m. PM. All right. See you guys.